You've been feeling gloomy and like every day has been running into each other. You can't quite place your finger on why you have this sense of depression, but not just when you wake up, it's throughout your day. And you reminisce over the time where you once was happy and you felt okay consistently, but you're now stuck on how to get it back. Are you ready for this hard pill to swallow? You've lost your power. Hi, I'm Diamond, and welcome to Herziety, which stands for Her Anxiety. Your very best friend is here, and I'm here to tell you that you're about to get back your power, but it is going to take a little bit of training. So if you're here to get into this lesson, I want you to like and hit that subscribe bell so that you get notifications on all the other videos to come similar to this one. Let's meet Liv. She's going to be this channel's modeled dream girl. However, Liv came from some pretty rough and humbling beginnings. Disclaimer, Liv is just solely our model girl in who I am going to bring in different topics, life lesson topics, to use as an example on how she would handle or go about the situation as the dream girl that we all hope and aspire to be at some point in our lives. Liv isn't just aesthetically living her dream life. Liv is that girl, internally and intentionally. When it comes to her, she don't play. And she grew up mentally, physically, and verbally abused. She didn't have life spoken into her. Instead, it was stripped from her. She went through grade school as a very quiet girl because she had low self-esteem, always imagining the worst of herself. She was raised believing that life would never be good to her and with the mentality that she was never going to amount to anything. She hardly spoke unless spoken to because she was taught that her feelings didn't matter. She grew up with her single mother who abused her authority as a parent to her and placed fear instead of love in her. She had somewhat of a relationship with her father, but he moved on with his life. He remarried, he had more kids, and she wasn't quite a part of that scenario. Her dad came through for her financially, but he didn't maintain a consistent relationship that she needed from a male figure in her life. After Liv graduated high school, she didn't have the support to go to college, so she got an odd-end kind of job just to get up enough money so that she could desperately move out of her mother's home. At the age of 21, Liv met an older guy who was 15 years her senior, who showed her love and attention, affection, pretty much everything that she was missing from a male figure in her life. However, Liv found herself always being a target to his mind games and manipulative behaviors. He took advantage of Liv being so much younger than him. He played on her naiveness, and she thought that it was maturity, but in actuality, the way he was being was controlling.
You see how nice your life could be if you just do what I say.
Now let's pause for a second. Liv was naturally attracted to a controlling man. So it's not like she consciously was going after somebody that was controlling. Just subconsciously, she was just attracted to that, and it was just a natural thing for her to gravitate towards. Now, do you know where that could have possibly came from? I'm going to tell you. She built a tolerance level for that as a young little girl from her mother, who was controlling. So nothing changed, even though we try to get away from things that we don't like and how we were raised. Naturally, we still grow up into adults and we gravitate to it. A few years later, Liv got pregnant with their daughter, and shortly after her arrival, he left them. Why? Because now Liv had to share her attention and her affection with someone else, and his patience was shorter than their infant. Liv was devastated with her new reality and did not know where to begin picking up the pieces as a single parent with no support system of her own. Ooh, girl, let's take another quick pause because honestly, this is someone's similar story or exact story out here in the world, and they need help really bad. So God, if someone is calling upon you right now, I ask that you help them find this video to help them dry their tears, help them get back on track, because that is a lot. And we're humans at the end of the day. We can only take but so much before we really have mental breakdown. If you know someone who's going through something like this, please share this video with them. If I'm talking directly to you and you're going through something like this, let me say this: you're seen, you're loved, you're heard, you're not forgotten about. There's hope, and there's always a flickering light at the end of any dark tunnel. This isn't the end. This is your break that you've been yearning for. So now let's get through it. Let's get back to the story. Liv could not call on her mother or her father for support. So she had to get downright serious in figuring out how in the hell she was going to get everything taken care of now by herself for her and her baby girl. She got her full-time job, barely keeping her afloat, but her three biggest expenses was her rent, childcare, her car note. And then she had all the in-between: utilities, groceries, insurances, and the baby's ongoing necessities and expenses. She knew what she could do with her daughter's father, but she realized that going through that process would take a major toll on her already fragile state of mental health. And that was something that she was trying to really preserve, and not having a breakdown on a daily basis. She understood that she could get government assistance, but she also understood that that would come with a controlled cap of how much she could make in order to continue receiving it. That brings me to another tolerance level that Liv built from her mother, and that was the word cap. Always feeling like she was in a bottle with a cap on it. There was a cap on the amount of love she received from the two most important people in her life that she called parents. There was a cap on how far she was going to go in life. That's what she was told.
Now, come on, you're never gonna get the grades to qualify for one of those spots. You're not smart enough, sweetie.
Wait, am I on glue, or did we not get into the same law school, Warner?
Well, yeah, but...
But what? We took the same LSATs, and we're taking the same classes.
I know, but come on, Elle, be serious. You can do something more valuable with your time.
I'm never gonna be good enough for you, am I?
Oh, come on.
Just forget it. I'll show you how valuable Elle Woods can be.
Liv was tired of being sick and tired, and one morning she woke up differently. She was done with hoping for the people that she longed to have a relationship with, but who didn't reciprocate the same wants and desires for her. She was done with anything that didn't bring her peace. She realized that people came a dime a dozen, and so did the people that she gave the keys to her heart, but who decided to place it in their back pockets. And it was this day that her life changed forever. And guess what? It had nothing to do with finding a new man, mending her broken relationship with her family, or securing a new job. It was because she realized that life was just way too short to live another day feeling unwanted or just giving away the keys to her happiness. She realized she wasn't crazy. Rather, she was a victim to mental, emotional, and verbal abuse in her childhood that was never granted correction until this day. She forgave herself for feeling unstable, doubtful, fearful, and imbalanced. She gave herself back peace over her built-up silence, depression, and anger. She validated her trauma even though for years it was invalidated and swept right up under the rug. She woke up that morning with a newfound understanding that she had been living her life as a doormat, with people coming and going, wiping their feet clean. This day was the day that she woke up as the dream girl that she always fantasized of becoming, who exuded confidence, the ability to put her foot down and say no, set boundaries, and have the self-love that she always desired, but never knew how to quite have or wasn't taught to have as a young child. This was a long-awaited moment that Liv had prayed to be granted for years. Fast forward to a couple of years later, and Liv is now working in her dream job position as content creator to you. Her segment is called What Would Liv Do? It empowers women who are transitioning from being a doormat to the ultimate dream girl. Her daughter is thriving, she attends great schooling, and she's a little ballerina.
Molly smiles with the dawn. Molly smiles and she's radiant.
Liv bought a townhouse that she paid in full and is happily single. She spent the majority of her life suffocating in toxic relationships, so she just wants to cruise above water in her newfound breath of fresh air. She's not closed to love. She just wants to take a break and is not rushing the timing of it. She now says no with ease because her boundaries are so important, and she's not willing to not protect herself from spiraling back down that old rabbit hole. She is confident and prioritizes her self-care routines, her self-love sessions every morning, her rest, and her superpowers as mommy to her little princess. She is so grateful to God for giving her baby as her saving grace. And one of the biggest things that she gives advice on is finding your saving grace. It doesn't have to be in the form of having a child. Honestly, anything, big or small, can be coined as your saving grace. It's there, right in front of you, right under your nose, and you're overlooking it right now, because it could be as little as journaling your current troubles just to get it off your chest. So your notebook could be your saving grace that helped you get to that one day you woke up differently moment. This is Liv, and you're going to be seeing her more often now as we go through different scenarios, and we need to find out what would Liv do. Okay, girls, so in the next video, we are going to dive into examining what people-pleasing, also known as being a doormat, looks like. We are going to take a look at different scenarios that can cause us to spiral into this position without even knowing that we're in this position. But before I go, I want to give you some homework to think about and be prepared for in the next video. Would you classify yourself as a doormat? Here's my definition of what a doormat looks like to me. Being a doormat is when you let other people treat you poorly without defending yourself or setting boundaries that surrounds your level of tolerance. Let's talk about it. If you can identify with being a doormat and you feel comfortable sharing your experiences, comment below. I personally can identify with being a doormat. That has led me to working hard to become the dream girl that I am for myself. If I could be anyone in this world, it would definitely be the version of myself that I am right now. It wasn't and still isn't an easy road, but it's a road well worth it because I have the peace to live in the space of having a full heart. Until next time, I want you to grow and glow.